Hi. I am coming to you today because I want to share some information that I think might be very valuable. And I delivered this as a webinar, and I've also done this in another group or two. And I honestly want to go ahead and create this video so that others can watch it too. So let me just tell you what we're going to cover. I am planning to discuss the 5 steps to a perfect start on the bookkeeping for your new business. 5, just 5, just 5. And I want to make sure that I share this with as many new entrepreneurs as possible because there is fear, anxiety, stigma all around bookkeeping that just really truly doesn't need to be there. So let's get down to business. I am going to share my screen and then we will, one second, please. We will get the presentation going. All right. So the 5 steps to a perfect start on the bookkeeping for your new business. Why can't we make bookkeeping fun and sexy? Why not? Let's do it. It really doesn't have to be anxiety ridden, and it doesn't have to cause you panic, and it doesn't have to be boring. It can actually be exciting. So let's do it. All right. So what is bookkeeping? And I've actually had people ask me this before. Bookkeeping is nothing more than the activity or occupation of keeping the records of the financial affairs of a business. As I like to say, it's keeping up with the money coming in and the money going out. Keeping up with where it's coming from and where it's going to and how it's getting there on both sides. That's what bookkeeping is. It's actually relatively pretty simple. Why is it important? Well, number one, you have to know the numbers for your business in order to be able to make better decisions. If you don't know what's going on in your business, if you don't know what your revenues are, and you don't know what your expenses are and what you owe to your liabilities, your credit cards, your loans, that type of thing, or how much money you've taken out of the business or what any of that, then you are stuck with a lack of information that causes you to not fully make the best decisions. So that's the number one reason why it's important. You need numbers. The numbers are important. It's not something we should avoid. And number 2, CPA needs it for tax time. Your CPA needs that information in order to file your taxes for you. And if you don't have it, guess what's going to happen? You're going to end up having to spend time at tax time, tons of time at tax time, gathering it all up from the previous year. And that is absolutely not fun. Okay, financial empowerment. Let's talk about this, girls. We want to be financially empowered. We want to be empowered, period. But this is about the financial aspects of empowerment. What we want our bookkeeping to do for us with regards to financial empowerment is we want it to help us know our current financial position at any given moment. We want to know exactly what's going on in our business financially at any second. We want to know at any second. We want to be able to pull it up and go, okay, I see what's gone out at this point. I see what went out this month. I see what's coming in now. I see what's coming in for this particular product or this particular service. We want to know that information. You can focus on the most pressing issues because you know what they are. That's definitely empowerment. If you have your numbers, then you know where problems are. You know the things you need to address. You know where expenses are increasing and your revenues are going down. You spend no more than 30 minutes per week on your bookkeeping. There is no reason at all for you to ever spend more. There really, truly is not. Now, if you're doing invoicing and all kinds of paying contractors and that types of things through different platforms, yes, it could get complicated and maybe it's time for you to consider a bookkeeper at that point. But if you're not doing all the excess things, honestly could probably spend 15 minutes and get it done. You have financial reports that speak your language and the language of your business. You want to know what your financials are telling you in your language. We don't want financial statements that we look at and we have absolutely no idea what is included in the different parts of those financial reports because we don't understand the language that was used. We have to have it in our language so that we fully have that financial empowerment. You can be confident in the decisions you make for your business because you are clear on it all. And that's truly financial empowerment. All right, so 5 key takeaways for today, or the 5 steps, as I've referred to them before, are this. Open a business checking account. Use a software. Set up a personalized chart of accounts. Be diligent and reconcile monthly. Don't worry, I'm going to go through all 5 of these, and I'm going to make sure that everyone understands exactly what I mean by these things. Because if we can do these 5 steps, then we're going to be off to a perfect start. Okay, if you don't have a checking account for your business, just go ahead and shut this down and go get one. Now, this is the most important step of all. Do not use your personal account for your business. Did you know that the IRS could come in and audit you and deem your business a hobby? If your expenses and all those things are running through your personal account and you're not really making a whole lot of money, you don't have a lot coming in, the IRS could literally say, you know what, that coaching business you're doing, it's not a business. You're not making any money. You can't take those deductions. That's just a hobby. You're just out there having fun. We don't want that to happen, do we? Another one is you can easily miss transactions that could have been business expenses. So if you're looking through your personal records, trying to identify where you've spent money on your business, you could easily skip some. You could easily miss something, and you don't want to do that. Now, if you keep your business account and you run everything you do through that business account, then you definitely will have an easier time keeping up with it all. Along those notes, it's very wise to make sure your business account is at the same financial institution as your personal account. Here's why. If you want to take out money quickly or you want to put money in quickly and your accounts are at 2 different financial institutions, it's going to be an issue because there's a bigger delay. If you are at the same institution with both business and personal, you can transfer on an app and it's instantaneous. Whereas if you are at 2 separate institutions, it could take 3, 4, 5, maybe even more days to get that money where it needs to go. So consider that when you're opening your account. It keeps you from building a strong credit profile for your business if you don't have a business account. And just like we have personal accounts, we also have business accounts. And our credit profile is very important in our business, just as it is in personal. And if you don't have a business checking account, that contributes to not being able to continue to build that up. Okay, next step, software. Huge, 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 huge. Go ahead and put the spreadsheets away. You want to know why? There is no reason at all that you should not have a software running for your bookkeeping. You want to tell me that you don't want to do that because you don't want to spend the money on another software? Well, guess what? Wave Apps is free and it's actually pretty good. Now, if you are willing to invest in a software, QuickBooks Online is by far the best, and that is my recommendation. Absolutely. Because you can automate so many different aspects of QuickBooks Online, and you can get a lot of the work done with that automation. So it reduces the amount of time that you have to spend. There are lots of other reasons as well, including that it communicates with most other softwares. If you have a receipt tracking software, quite often they communicate with QuickBooks. You know, you're definitely much less limited on the communication between softwares if you're using QuickBooks Online. There are other softwares that you could consider, for sure, but Wave Apps is free and QuickBooks Online is amazing. But spreadsheets, I would toss them. They're not out of the question, but they're definitely not the most desirable. Okay, now let's talk about the chart of accounts. What is it, first of all? Your chart of accounts is a listing of all the different categories that can be used to track the transactions for your business. So if you have your different transactions, you have to be able to put them into different categories. Your expenses can be a marketing expense or an advertising expense or a software expense or a professional development expense. And the list just goes on and on and on and on and on. But you have to have a good chart of accounts, in your words. You have to have a chart of accounts that you understand, and you can have it as detailed as you want it to be. Now, when it comes down to it, your CPA is only going to want to see combined numbers in a lot of different areas, and you want to make sure you know what those are. QuickBooks Online is collapsible. The financial reports are collapsible. So you can have a high level, for example, profit and loss statement that has just what your CPA wants to see, with sub-accounts that you can expand that financial report out and see the sub-accounts with the detail you want to see. The chart of accounts truly does drive the look and feel of your financial reports. And so it's very important to design that chart of accounts specific to you and your business, your words, and your business's needs. Okay, yes, be diligent. Don't wait. Don't wait until tax time to try to pull everything together. It will be one of the most frustrating experiences you have experienced. Make sure everything is set up well and that you have everything as automated as possible. Don't procrastinate. Set aside a specific day and time to get it done. And I promise you that in 15 to 30 minutes a week, you can have your bookkeeping taken care of. But be diligent about it and make sure you do it regularly. That's a very important step. Okay, what is it? Reconciliation. Oh my goodness. Don't skip this step. A lot of entrepreneurs skip this step, a great deal, and you do not want to skip. If you do skip the reconciliation, you could find out a year from now that you filed your taxes with inadequate information. You've missed transactions that could have been more deductions for you at tax time. You could potentially underreport or overreport your income. There are bank errors, they do exist, and you can also make errors. When I talk about catching your errors, this also includes the errors that could happen with the software sync. So in your software, you are able to sync in the accounts and have your transactions come automatically into the software. There are times when the software fails or the bank feed, as it is on the bank side, fails and you've missed some transactions. Things could potentially not show up for a short period of time. If you are not reconciling your accounts and going through that, it is so easy to miss that. Another thing is you can catch fraud. If you have transactions coming through and you're just willy-nilly accepting them and putting them in the categories and just assuming that everything there is legitimate, then if you don't compare that to your bank statement, you might not catch some fraud. You might not catch if there is any fraud there. So be sure to go ahead and compare your numbers and the transactions you have against what your bank shows every single month. And if you have a software and you're using a software, there are reconciliation functions within the software that make that very, very simple for you. Okay, in a recap, we must open a business checking account. If you already have one, amazing. We have to use a bookkeeping software in order to maximize our time. We want more time to spend on our businesses and on the development of our business. And using a bookkeeping software definitely helps us to take care of the bookkeeping aspect of our business much more efficiently. We are going to set up a personalized chart of accounts and make sure that it is in our words and that it makes sure that our financial statements speak to us the way we need to see it. We're going to be diligent and we're going to make sure that everything is done regularly and on time each week, each month. And we're going to reconcile our statements or reconcile our accounts to make sure we don't miss any errors. Don't wait until it gets messy. Definitely do not wait until it gets messy. If you're just getting started, my greatest desire is to take the stigma out of bookkeeping so that entrepreneurs don't panic when they hear the word. So that entrepreneurs don't spend days at tax time to hopefully gather all documentation and information. So that entrepreneurs actually truly enjoy bookkeeping because they know that there is financial empowerment on the other side of that 30 minutes per week. Spend the time and know your business. So now that I have delivered that information to you, I also want to make sure you are aware that I have a 30-day program, a 30-day coaching program where I help you through all of the steps of getting everything set up. We make sure that your chart of accounts is perfect for your business. We make sure we map out the flow of the money. We make sure that we choose the correct software in all different aspects of the financial processes in your business. We also make sure that you know exactly what you need to be doing and when you need to be doing it. I always want to make sure that when I walk away from a coaching program with a client, that they are fully empowered. So contact me and let's get started together. And let me make sure you're off on the right foot.